Wanderer, The Ultimate Hippie Trail Journey. It's a great read. I have a ball reading it, and I think you will too. And we think it's going to make a very fine week by week series, if you will. TV, movies, let's make it happen. Join us. Welcome to week 52 of the Stevie Wander from 52 years ago. This week, we start out in Zurich, Switzerland, and I am able to exchange my Icelandic air ticket for $118. I've got money in my pocket. I'm able to get home however I wish. After a couple of days in Zurich with some local people, I hitchhike to Basel, Switzerland, meet some local people there and groove around, then make my way hitchhiking again. And the car I'm riding in, breaks down in a little town in Germany. Not a pleasant experience. But we get back on the road after the car's fixed, and my driver takes me all the way up to Antwerp in Belgium, and he goes off to England where he's from. I decide to take a train to Amsterdam. I get off, I'm able to have a good time, get back to my hotel haunts, and I exchange my money that I have now for a $105 ticket, and I buy myself a ride to New York City in a jet and a student charter flight. So let's get down to the particulars. It's September 26, 1971. It's Sunday. I'm in Zurich, Switzerland, my 25th country. The long overnight train ride leaves me in Zurich on a beautiful Sunday morning with bells ringing from every steeple, and there are many. It's an incredible cacophony of ringing church bells making a beautiful symphony. Yes, I finally made it to Zurich, and here I see a Pembroke Welsh Corgi, like our dog Gladys at home. Wow, I miss her so much. But I'm in an effing youth hostel. Boy, get thee home. You're too tired for this. Expensive too, here in Switzerland. I feel like a kid, 23 years old, like a child asleep at 10 o'clock with a curfew. Oh well. I'm spending a couple nights here in Zurich, and it is a youth hostel, but it's okay. On Monday, I find the Laufleiter Air, the Air Iceland, and I get rid of that load around my neck, a $118 return to me in exchange for the ticket I've held on to for almost a year. So now I'm free. Too late. The ticket made me return to Europe to get my passage home. I checked for mail at American Express. There's none there. I don't know what happened. Nobody seems to love me anymore. Little did I know that the mail I sent from Kandahar, Afghanistan, directing folks to send me things in Zurich, did not make it out. With no mail in Zurich, I decide it's time for me to move on towards Basel, also in Switzerland. So after several rides, I make it to Basel. And on the suggestion of a turned-on cat who drove me into Basel, I go into a cafe. They have booming music put on by a cat with a disc jockey setup. Gals and guys ask me for a blow. I turn them on, and I get so stoned that I get waves of nausea and throw up after eating too much for lunch. These Europeans keep mixing tobacco with their hashish, and this makes me nauseous. Another moving bout between me and my maker. Oh, Jesus, help me rescind myself of my sins. I pray to thee with faith. It was all the way out, nearer my God to me. Here in Basel, I started getting involved with a Cincinnati guy and a local, and we really get into it. I go back with them to their place for the night. It has really been beautiful in this cool town with great music, a few women, a dog named Stony, great food, great dope. The sounds are killing me. Led Zeppelin goes in the background. Unrivaled sounds and music on my journey. I'll be leaving in the morning, I think heading north towards Amsterdam. Seeing these people just living here is really throwing my head into much thought and analysis. It's a heavy trip, really good people just living their lives. It was great to hitch here, to be on the road again. I'm feeling good. The world is my nut to crack. My God, what a great trip this is. I've got every comfort of home. People are beautiful. This local guy is so good to me, he puts me to shame. The readjustments coming are really going to move me. I think I will dig it. People live nicely in this place. I think I'm gaining compassion for Richard Nixon, the President of the United States. I better forgive the man. A personal revelation of my love. The Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers, Musica. Create love everywhere. I leave Basel after a very nice time with these young, beautiful people about my age. Then after a couple hours screwing around on the road, I get picked up by an English fellow named John Peachy. He is working in Switzerland and is on his way home to England for a while. So I have a ride all the way to Cologne and I will be almost to Amsterdam. As we drive along on the Autobahn, his car starts hissing and breaks down. A huge truck comes by and lifts his small car right up on its flatbed, and we tag along to the mechanic shop just off the Autobahn. Me, I'm still floating, and we're hanging out with great music. He's a DJ at a discotheque in Switzerland. 30 September 1971, Thursday, Flammersfeld, a small town in the Deutschland between Frankfurt and Cologne, or Cologne as we know it in the States. September 1971, it's Thursday, and I'm in a small town in the Deutschland, Germany, between Frankfurt and Cologne, called Flammersfeld. Well, I'm held up in some nothing German town where the people are made of stone and stupidity. You should see the way they look at me. What would these people have done to Jesus Christ? My God, the Deutschland is a strange place. It's a bit weird and scary. The bank in this small German town gives me 2.5 times the value of my $10 traveler's check. I am going to borrow expenses from my English friend, but now I don't need to. Give and take. Now home is just ahead, really. Tomorrow I'll hit the road alone if necessary, if his car isn't finished. He's a good dude and I hate leaving him, but my money is getting down and that forces me to move on. The music just keeps coming at me in all kinds of sounds. We're stoned out of our minds, held up in this tiny spot of the mentality that seemed to create Hitler's Germany. These people have a hard time smiling, even at each other. Amen. My English friend who picked me up on the road, he finally gets his car fixed and we drive to Antwerpen, Belgium. Together. The water pump is fixed. It is late afternoon and I say screw it and I take one more train to Amsterdam. Wow, get me back to Amsterdam. It's the return and I always love returning because I know the place and I feel better about being not exactly a stranger. It is Saturday, October 2, 1971, and I've made it back to Amsterdam. 1 year ago today, I left my home. Today, I finally have a ticket to New York City. I luckily copped a student charter for Monday, October 4 for $105. So Monday evening, it's back to the USA. This city is a real mind blower. Bawdy, prostitutes, booze, and there's that coming and going. The people are going off to Kathmandu, and now one of your own, Stevie Wander Reifman, has made his way back to Amsterdam, and he's coming back from Kathmandu dripping of India, Nepal, and the East. It's been a hell of a journey. A couple of major things about traveling on the hippie trail for me, a guy that didn't have a bankroll at home and not with rich family. Well, it means that you're doing two things to line them up: time and money. The time, when you don't have any obligations, when it doesn't matter if you spend another couple nights in some little town, or you move on, or you don't move on, and you decide as you go. Money, somehow you need it in your pocket to make it work, or you have to go to work in some fashion. And going to work in some foreign country where you don't speak the language and you don't know diddly squat about what's going on, that just doesn't seem to work. So I decided the only way for me was to keep getting that little bit of money sent to me from home to keep me moving on. But I'm running out quick as I'm on my way to Amsterdam. And somehow I still need to get from New York City all the way home. We'll see what happens next week. Folks, next week is the finale. It's week 53. It starts out with a couple of fun days in Amsterdam. Fun, but thinking a lot about what's coming ahead to the homecoming. And then finally a flight over the ocean to New York City, and ultimately having to take a Greyhound bus and taking it through Cleveland and then up to Detroit, and then taking a local bus to a shopping center near my home and literally walking that last mile home, and then finding the explosion of dealing with the folks he has left behind and the culture. And we'll see how our Stevie Wander makes it when he gets home. We'll see you next week for the particulars. Thank you very much. Listen, our wanderer was thinking a lot about the exotic East that he left behind, especially Afghanistan, which had made a real imprint on him and was the last place he visited in the exotic East. So we are presenting the Afghanistan special. Through the eyes of our wanderer, you will see the land and the people of Afghanistan taken from our weekly segments in one concise piece, so you'll get a real perspective on the land and people of Afghanistan in our Afghanistan special. The Wanderer is a great read. It uses something we call the active voice. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You feel like you're right there experiencing it with our wanderer. And follow our route of the journey on our website at wandererbook.com. It's amazing how often in my wandering journey over the last year that I've met so many people who display such warm friendship and great hospitality to a stranger. Despite all the constant strife across the planet, the world is filled with much love. Good people are everywhere in every culture. I've lived it with my own experience again and again. In fact, I've seen God everywhere, in all lands, especially in the eyes of all the people around the globe. I've come into contact with them. God shines through the eyes of his blessed creation. I sense it, see it, feel it, know it. Namaste. Back on the road, I hitchhiked for a couple of hours with no luck at flagging down a ride. Then a hip cat, an English DJ who works at a discotheque in Switzerland, pulls over for me. Hop in, mate. My name is Ronnie. Hello, I'm Woodstock, or Steve. Thanks for the ride. Ronnie blasts the radio and we cross the border into Germany. Soon we are on the Autobahn, racing north. This is the perfect ride I need. Sit back, relax, enjoy.